Are you able to work or study okay? Are you able to hold your relationship, any form of relationship, the way you used to before? Are you able to eat, sleep properly? You know?
Hi, this is Gaurav from Auxilo, and today we have Tanvi with us, who is a practicing psychologist, who is going to help us demystify some terms around mental health and how to go about it basically on World Mental Health Day. So, hi, Tanvi, welcome to Auxilo. If you could just introduce yourselves.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you, Auxilo, for this opportunity. So yes, as Gaurav said, that my name is Tanvi. I am a mental health professional by profession, and I'm based out of Bombay. And I have been working in this area since the past 6 years now. So yes, so October 10th is observed as World Mental Health Day around the globe, and there are various themes that we have for mental health every year. So, but I mean, regardless of the theme, what's happening right now is India needs to take its mental health very seriously. The youngsters need to take its mental health very seriously. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to converse a lot about mental health, its impact on students, and what can we do about it to actually make the mental health scenario better in this country.
Yeah, actually, the main impetus of having this conversation with you, Tanvi, is because uh, you're a student yourself, so I mean you are right in the mix of it, and who else to guide our students better, because at Auxilo we provide like education loans for students who want to like fulfill their dreams and want to study abroad. And we just wanted to have conversation about it, because even though we have some kind of awareness, but we don't see it, people talking about it much. So
Sure.
your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the conversation around mental health in this country is something which is which is stigmatized. It's considered to be a taboo topic. So everybody knows that there are issues that students face. I mean, come on. According to the recent statistics that the Indian government has released, approximately 13,000 students die by suicide every year in India, and that's a huge number.
Right.
So we all of us know that something is happening, and all of us know that suicide is not just a quest to seek attention. It's a cry for help. It's a symptom of certain mental health distress which is happening to this individual. But in spite of that, conversations are not normalized around mental health, unfortunately. The second thing that we usually notice a lot is that people use terms like depression and anxiety in the normal conversation, and up to the point that they are misrepresented at times. Like even if you're feeling sad, people end up saying I was so depressed, or I, for example, like to arrange say my study table in a particular order, and individuals say, you have such an OCD to sort of arrange things. So using
Right.
terms where they're not appropriate is something that happens a lot, and because of which a lot of misinformation spreads around the circles. And of course, a lack of awareness and lack of conversations and lack of proper research, even amongst the public, is something that contributes to this misinformation and ignorance and taboo overall.
Right, because even as students, we are limited to words like I'm depressed or I'm stressed, and anxiety could not define your whole mental health.
Absolutely.
And as a student, it becomes difficult to manage all these things. So, and especially like students flying abroad
Yes.
from India to different countries, and amidst that, students were already facing such problems, and we had the pandemic on top of that, which amplified these problems. So how, as a student yourself also, how would can a student go about it basically?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you said makes sense. The pandemic was already so difficult on all of us. Now, what happened was some kids who were, actually habituated to say like offline learning, classroom teaching, suddenly went to online teaching. It did not make a lot of sense for them because there was no interpersonal connect with their peers, with their teachers. And of course, managing, home environment, and then the stresses of school environment and homework. And then in certain homes, kids, share like one device amongst their siblings and their families as well. So then how to then go about that was a big question for them. Specifically amongst students looking to fly abroad, there was a lot of uncertainty in terms of their future. Because what started happening was naturally because of the global lockdown, there were delays everywhere in visa processing, in applications, in your competitive exams, in your entrance exams. So everywhere there was a delay. So there was a definite sort of knowledge as to how to then go about planning a future. So of course, along with the frustration and just a sense of like there's so many things to do, a sense of being overwhelmed, there were actual mental health issues also that got perpetrated among the kids. Social anxiety was also another thing that sort of like got perpetrated, because now these kids stayed under the state of lockdown inside their own homes for 2 years. And now imagine the student wanting to fly abroad. It's like learning to walk after a really long time. Like what foot to put ahead? How do you bend your knee? Do you bend your knee or not in the first place? So trying to imagine something this basic. So that is one of the many issues that kids obviously flying abroad might be facing right now. So I mean,
Right.
overall, to sum up, like a lot of frustration, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of self-doubt, and a lot of even chronic or critical mental health issues like say depression or anxiety, or or adjustment issues, social anxiety. All of this must be manifesting itself in one or the other way in school.
So we have our external factors which are affecting us, and also internal, if I may call that, like how we, interact with it, our own family, like with our parents, with our, siblings. So my question to you was that, how we could, because external factors are not in our hand, right, as
Right.
now. So, like, what is, like, if some parents are also watching our podcast, so what would you say to them? Like, how would their communicating better with their child would help them, have some ground for confidence?
So I was saying the first, of course, parental support plays a huge role in not just supporting the child, but also, giving them some kind of hope and boosting their confidence as well. So the first and foremost thing that parents could do actually to help their kids is to, hear them out. More often than not, kids are not just looking for solutions, but they're also looking for somebody who they can pour their hearts out to. And parents are the best people in this scenario, right? And that is something that will help the parents and the child work towards not only the way they connect with each other, but also the confidence and the self-esteem of the child also. I think that is so important. Also, as parents, sometimes, they think that they can solve all the child's issues. But if the parents notice that there are certain red flags, the child is, suddenly appearing to be withdrawn, the child is suddenly appearing to be all quiet, or if there are anger outbursts which are more frequent. So any other things which are not typical of the behavior of the child.
Like, I know there's no one clear solution to all these problems, but how does one, even begin to approach these problems and dismantle them on their own and hopefully find a concrete solution?
Sure. So I think the most important thing that one can do, firstly, is regardless of whether or not there are any issues that they think that they are facing, it is so very important to be aware of the number of issues in the first place, aware of the number of mental health issues in the first place, right? Because there's a lot of, like I mentioned previously as well, there's a lot of misinformation, and you just can't blindly, trust any source that is available on the internet or the television or the print media even. Like, do your own research. That is one thing that I would like to suggest to everybody. And when I say do your research, does not mean blindly trust any article. Just try to sort of go to the source of where the article originated from, what does it mean, so on and so forth, and who was the person behind the article in the first place. It might seem quite tedious, but it is important for your own knowledge. Secondly, be aware of your own strengths and limitations. Everybody has strengths, everybody has limitations, and there is no shame in accepting that you cannot do something beyond a particular capacity. It's completely okay to sort of embrace that those limitations, as if it's okay. Like it's high time that we normalize limitations in all of us. That's what makes all of us unique, right? So that is the second important thing. Third, be aware of your triggers. So along as you start to understand what your limitations are, perhaps also try to understand, what are the things which are likely to trigger you. A lot of individuals are very sensitive in the sense that they cannot, generally cope up with a lot of, sensitive information online, like somebody's death or some like brutal things happening. So it's completely okay to be aware of your triggers, to note down your triggers, to understand how these triggers impact you. So even when we talk about mental health issues, say for example depression, the way in which depression will impact me as an individual will be completely different from the way depression will impact you as an individual, because our environment is different. The way we are made as people is completely different. The kind of support system that we have, completely different, right? The third important thing is to be aware of how an issue impacts you and to what extent is it interfering with your day-to-day functioning. Are you able to work or study okay? Are you able to hold your relationship, any form of relationship, the way you used to before? Are you able to eat, sleep properly? Like just record the minute changes as like any situation progresses. Fourth, try to open up conversations among your peers, among your family, also about the issues that you're facing, to see if you can get any support. And the most important thing over here is to actually go seek support from a proper mental health professional in case of you've tried everything and it's nothing is working, or even if you have not tried anything and nothing is working, you can still go and seek a professional support, because that's any day better than everything else that you could do for yourself. There is no one size fits one shoe fits all kind of an approach in mental health at all. Even like in any form of therapy, right? The reason why therapist and the client, and no matter who the person, they work together to find solutions, to find ways to help the client, because of this very thing that you said, that all of us are unique individuals.
So I guess we've covered everything from like awareness of the issue, like taking cognizance of your mental health, and also some solutions that we as an individual can take and implement in our life. So thank you, Tanvi. Thank you for giving us the time.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Also, Tanvi, you have given us an article which we have published, so I'll just link that in the description down below. Please check that out, guys. And also, if you have any questions pertaining to your own mental health, so you can ask that in the comments. Thank you. Thanks, Tanvi.